I'd like to start with a simple question and a show of hands. Who here likes online advertising? No? Well, that's great. That's the answer I was expecting, and actually means that I can do the rest of the talk. See, of course you wouldn't. I'm a marketing consultant, I own a marketing agency, and even I find certain types of advertising invasive, annoying, and sometimes just downright rude. But luckily, there's the ad blocker, beautiful piece of software that can eliminate most of the advertising we see online. Now, according to recent research by PageFair, the number of people using ad blockers has increased from 21 million back in 2010 to 236 million now in 2017. And that doesn't include the 380 million people using them on mobile devices. So these are pretty big numbers, but what do they actually mean? According to the Internet Advertising Bureau, this is up to 25% of all people online. And really interestingly, the number one reason why people downloaded ad blockers, it's not due to the number of ads or download speeds, it's actually due to interruption. See, people are getting really, really annoyed that they're browsing online, trying to look at websites, and they're being disrupted by this advertising that annoys their online experience. So this got me thinking, what if these numbers continue to grow? What if we reach a situation where everyone's using an ad blocker, and online advertising ceases to exist? Would this be a good thing? And in the absence of any online advertising, what, if anything, replaces it? Yay, we're in the ad blocker future. There's no ads, isn't it great? So there's going to be some really great things that are going to come from this. First of all, it's going to level the playing field a little bit. Because suddenly, it's no longer the great big global company that's got loads of marketing budget that gets in front of you guys first. The little guy and the small business has got just as much chance of creating great online content that gets your attention and keeps you on their website. The interruption issue, well, that's not an issue anymore, because people can browse websites to their heart's content, you haven't got to wait for ads to load, and you're no longer being disrupted by advertising. And also, it's going to make advertisers step up their game a little bit. So instead of just ploughing all their money into online advertising, we might have better content, better services, better features, anything that they can do to compete and get you guys staying on their websites. So everyone's happy, and we can use these stock images that would otherwise never be used. This woman's ecstatic because she's got through her entire online experience without seeing one banner ad. These kids, well, they can watch YouTube videos to their heart's content without seeing a video ad play before them. This woman, look how much time she has saved by not waiting for an ad to load before she looks at a web page. She has saved so much time she can look at her watch. And this lady, I'm not really sure what this lady's doing, but I'm pretty sure she's happy about it because there's no online ads. Yep. But hang on a minute. There's no such thing as a free lunch. And according to some recent research by Juniper Research, the advertising industry is set to lose up to $27 billion simply due to ad blockers. Now I'm assuming that the industry is not just going to take that. So what now happens in the future? Has anyone heard of these two companies? Okay, show of hands. Who has ever used Google or Facebook? Okay, all of your hands should be up right now. And for the majority of us, the use of these two platforms is actually a daily occurrence. But the thing I was thinking about these two companies is, and what a lot of us don't know, is that up to 90% of their annual turnover comes from advertising revenue. We are talking billions of dollars that funds the running of their companies and allows all of us to use their services for free. Free messenger apps, free social media platforms, free translation tools. Gosh, what else is there? The list is actually kind of endless. But where does this advertising revenue go? Well, a lot of it will go on paying the 80,000 full-time staff that these two companies have worldwide. It goes on running their companies, paying their rent, giving their staff free food. But it actually also goes on hundreds, if not thousands, of projects around the world that are nothing to do with advertising. Projects in medical research, clean energy, philanthropy, and a lot of the technological advances that we've seen in recent years have actually been directly funded by advertising revenue. The driverless car, pilotless planes that deliver medical supplies to war-torn areas, stratosphere balloons that deliver Wi-Fi to those underneath, clean energy research, medical research, advances in robotics, artificial intelligence, virtual reality, augmented reality. It's a huge number of products and advances. Mark Zuckerberg himself, Mark, wow, don't put that in. Mark Zuckerberg himself has pledged $3 billion to helping fight diseases within his own lifetime. Dare I say that in this case, advertising can be seen as a force for good? Don't throw anything. So already we're building up this bigger picture of ad blockers and how they actually have a butterfly effect on many other different things rather than simply removing advertising from your online experience. So what happens in the ad blocker future? Google and Facebook cease to exist, they can't be funded anymore. None of those projects I just mentioned, they don't get funded anymore. The human race stops moving forward, there's no technological advances, and this picture goes a little bit backwards to what we're used to. This is actually a beautiful family dinner scene from 2050. Okay, so that's a bit of catastrophic thinking there, but the point still remains. If we're going to keep all of the positive aspects that advertising revenue currently generates, how do we do that? One of those answers is that it comes down to you guys. So when you're doing your Google search, would you pay a penny for it? How about 10 pence? Would you pay that every time you searched? Nodding your head. It's getting a bit more expensive, isn't it? What if you had to pay £5 a month for every social media platform you use? Which ones would you get rid of? I can see some of your faces. Oh gosh, get rid of that one. See, because now that we have to pay for it, we're not so willing to use it. Now I've done some calculations. I've looked at my own usage online and I've come up with a plan of what I think the ad blocker future looks like for me. It's pretty expensive, man. I mean, I roughly do 1,500 Google searches a month. I'm going to keep 4 of my social media accounts, I think. You go onto the subscription YouTube Red platform, which is around about £8 a month, and news articles. You know, they spend a lot of time writing those, so they're 10p each. £58 a month. That's pretty expensive. This is going to completely change the way that we all use online. Could this be the future of online images? You see, in the ad blocker future, we've completely taken away the ability for advertisers and their facilitators to advertise in their own space. So now they're going to advertise in yours. We're already used to using filters, borders, loads of lovely little bits that we can add to our photos. And we currently have the ability to upload hundreds, if not thousands of photos to blogs, websites, social media platforms, completely free of charge. But in the ad blocker future, these filters, they're compulsory. And if you want to upload a photo for free, well, it's got to be sponsored. So what really will happen? I hope I haven't scared you too much. At the moment, there's actually a bit of panic. Ad blockers are relatively new, they're disrupting the marketplace, and advertisers are scared. Already there's been several lawsuits attempted against some of the largest ad blocker companies, unsuccessfully, I might add. Whereas other publishers and websites, they've decided to implement what we call fair usage policies, whereby they've asked people to remove their ad blockers when they're trying to access their free content. These don't work, though, because 75% of people won't turn off their ad blocker, they'll just leave the site. So what happens then? I'm a genuine believer that disruption in some cases can be a good thing. And I think that ad blockers will give the online advertising industry the kick up the bum that it really needed. And where we were used to advertisers maybe just kicking back, investing money into ads, perhaps they'll take it a little bit more seriously. Investing in good quality content, great features, better services, better ways to entice us and get us to share their content. Or we're already seeing this with some companies. I'm sure you've all heard of BuzzFeed. So BuzzFeed has over 200 million hits on their website every month and 2.2 billion video views every single month. And what they'll do is they'll get a big brand, it'll partnership with BuzzFeed, and BuzzFeed will make either a video or a questionnaire or an article that's really genuinely interesting content that encourages people to share it organically. I'm going to see a lot more of this in the future. So to sum up, I'd like to leave you with a question and something to think about in the future. When you go home and you decide to download an ad blocker or use one in the future, think about how you want to be advertised to. Would you rather have the current situation where all content is free, but you know that viewing ads is the exchange for that? Would you rather pay for it all on a subscription basis? Or would you rather it be free, but know that most of the content you're seeing is sponsored and therefore likely to be biased? I know which one I'd rather pick. Thank you.